So, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whenever you're watching this. Hopefully, not too late at night. But welcome to another episode of the Ridgeback Rumble Talk. And we are joined today by Kennedy Latour. Kennedy, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing, David?
Pretty awesome. Hope you're pretty awesome too. How's school been for you?
It's been different, but it's been good.
All right.
Busy.
Yeah, I know. It's a unique experience altogether. But let's dissect it a little bit though. First of all, you're in rowing, right?
Yep.
Perfect. The varsity rowing team, and you are from St. Andrews West. Is that correct?
Yep.
You want to shout out your town? Anything to say about that?
It's a hamlet. There's like 5 houses.
Oh my God. Okay, never mind. Let's skip that on. So if you didn't know a lot about Kennedy, Kennedy is in her 4th year studying kinesiology. And of course, like I said, is on the rowing team. And a lot of pretty interesting things you want to learn about her as an individual. You can actually speak French too. She's going to do a post-grad. She's an athletic trainer in an internship course. So many things just like jumbled in there as well. She's a jack of all trades, essentially. But let's talk some more though. Before I start talking about you, I want to talk about your teammates a little bit, as well as just the rowing team in general, see how well you know them, kind of just throw in some questions at you, just get your response. But first of all, apart from Taylor, okay, we're not going to go the easy route. Who are your favorite members of the rowing team? I have to throw that out there.
Well, I can't say like my favorite members because everybody is so unique in their own way.
Okay.
But for instance, like obviously people who have been on the team with me since like day one that are still currently on the team is like Kirsten Hawk. So she was with me in my novice year, and Sarah Matthews, who is no longer on the rowing team, but was with me in my novice year. And then outside of that, they kind of started afterwards. But yeah, like everybody's pretty unique and, brings their own set of skills. And like, I like them for those reasons, right?
Yeah, true. There's a whole round perspective, kind of spread the love amongst everyone. Now, I know I moved Taylor out of the picture because I have a lot more questions I want to ask about that. I know you two are really close, so I didn't just want you to take the easy route in that sense. But I like to ask people this, just for fun, that if you were in rowing, what sport do you think you'll be doing instead?
I don't really know, to be honest. Like, I'm not really coordinated too much, so it's not like I could play hockey or soccer. And I've never played lacrosse. And I only started golfing this summer, and I suck at badminton, so I probably wouldn't be on a team.
Okay, right. Can you swim though? I mean, if you're rowing, are you good at swimming? Should ask that.
Yeah, like I started swimming from a really young age, so like I enjoy swimming, but I don't know like the technicalities of swimming.
Oh, I see. Well, I mean, you can always learn. That could be a secondary sport.
Yeah.
But oh well, it just shows that you're fully committed to rowing. Your attention is not divided everywhere else, which is fantastic. But now I want to ask you a bunch of who's most likely to questions. I know you said you love everyone on the squad. Everyone means something to you in every little way. But now I want to see how well you know their personalities individually. So first things first, who would you say is most likely to win a Grammy or an Oscar on the rowing team?
Okay, what's a Grammy and an Oscar again? Like, is it like acting and stuff?
Acting or singing? Who's most likely to be the superstar actor or superstar musician?
Christina, because she's really, really funny.
Oh my God.
So I feel like she could go really far, with her humor and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. And everybody loves comedy.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what I mean? Like if you can fit the role of like the comedian and stuff like that, oftentimes you just kind of have like that natural instinct to, be an actress sort of thing.
Exactly. I just noticed they always make that transition so seamlessly into Hollywood, but that's fantastic, man. Well, Christina, you're bound for big things for sure. Now, who would you say is most likely to do weird things in public? Maybe just like shout out for no reason or just start singing in the mall for no absolute reason.
I don't know if there's anyone that would do that.
Don't be afraid. It won't come for you. You can say their names on this.
No, but I really don't know. Like everyone is pretty like, at the center of their balance, and like professional. So I don't know if I have an answer.
Okay, that's fine then. Speaking of professional, since you said that a lot of them are professional, who is most likely to win a Nobel Prize on the team?
Kirsten.
Kirsten.
Yeah.
Why Kirsten?
I just think she's really smart. So, and she's like an avid athlete in other sports as well. So I just feel like it's like that all around person that could go further.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That fits the profile perfectly then.
Yeah.
In that regard, then, seems like you have pretty good understanding of your teammates. You love them very much. Let me put it like that. So, what's it been like though? Now that you can't really, I guess, stay as close physically with them and train together and whatnot. I guess maybe you've been able to meet some of them. I don't know, but what's it just been like? The dynamic, has the communication been the same? Has the energy and enthusiasm been up there as well? What's it like being a rower in the middle of a pandemic?
Well, I mean, like we're always kind of subjected to like smaller groups just in regards to like the boat sizes and stuff. So that aspect didn't really change. It's just like the aspect of like who you're able to train with and practice with, and like are you able to maybe like try in a different boat with a different person to see if maybe your skills and speed go together better than that of you and someone else. So that's definitely changed because we're just subjected to like people in our household or like being alone essentially.
Yeah.
um as for like energy and enthusiasm, I don't think there's really much of that at 5:45 in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning. So it takes us a while to, like get going and like actually share some jokes and stuff like that. But with the social distance and stuff like that, I feel like it's maybe been hard to see where people's heads are at throughout this semester.
That's very true. I mean, it's very limited in that sense. And while in the team, what, let's say, category do you usually rowing, or which one do you tend to gravitate towards? Like singles, doubles, or
Well,
what's
I've never rowed in a single.
okay?
I did a double in my second year, just very like lightly. And then in my third year, I actually had a concussion, so I was a coxswain. And then this year, the only thing I did when I was on water was a double with Taylor.
Oh, look at that. The perfect duo. Definitely. Okay. So looking back in the whole rowing season, still on that topic, when I know you said you were a coxswain when you were in your third year, and beforehand you've done other things too. So what has been generally the most interesting part of training, and what's the least interesting part altogether?
So the most interesting part would be learning the concept of rowing. So for example, the different boats and the different types of oars and like the different skills and technique that go into not only the different boats, but actually using the different equipment that come with different boats. So that's definitely the most interesting because you definitely learn a lot and you have no idea like how much work goes into it until you actually do it yourself. Like just as an example, a lot of people think that like rowing is a lot of like upper body, but it actually comes from the power in your legs.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, like and like your arms and stuff, of course you need to be powerful and like have strength and stuff, but that's mostly just like the coordination and stuff like that of the rowing. And then the least interesting, like of rowing in general,
Yeah.
or like our rowing team,
Yeah, I guess your rowing team. Let's keep it specific.
sweeping the geese poop off the docks.
What? How often do you need to do that?
Well, you need to do it every morning.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
yeah, because consider like we go barefoot on the dock to
Yeah,
get into our boats, like we're not wearing our own shoes or anything like that.
yeah.
So like you would be stepping on geese poop and like putting your hands in it if it wasn't swept because you have to get in the boat and then like like walk it down and then actually get your oars in the water.
Yeah.
So if we didn't sweep it, we'd be smelly.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's one more reason why I should not go into rowing. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Rowing is a fantastic sport, right?
Right?
Lots that go into it. So, I mean, for people who want to go into rowing in the future, let's ignore the topic of having to sweep geese poop. That's going to drive them away. What would you say are some exciting things they can look forward to when everything gets back to the usual season and whatnot? What's that exciting factor that can attract new people coming into the sport?
Um like for novice teams, for example, I don't know. I just think it's like really exciting to be a part of a team, and it's like a community of its own. And like I was just like saying with the positives and stuff, it's a sport that you're never gonna fully know inside and out. You know, there's always more to learn in regards to like things you've never done, boats you've never been in, ways you've never trained.
Yeah.
So there's the component of actually being the rower in the boat. There's the component of being the coxswain or having a boat with a coxswain or without a coxswain. And then there's like the strength and conditioning that comes with it as well. So you not only learn so much about yourself and the benefits that you bring, but you also learn a lot about yourself in regards to like the disadvantages that you might have that you, because you're on this team, end up working towards a goal of being better in that department.
Yeah. That's really true. That's really true. The sense of community altogether is really solid. And just collaboration altogether, the communication part is an essential thing that I've really seen that's good in rowing. So just the last question I actually do have. I recently learned what a coxswain is, and I had to learn this, of course, so that I could know just a little bit about rowing if I was to talk to a rower. But for someone like me a year ago who had no idea what this role is and how important it is in terms of communication on the water, how would you explain the role of a coxswain?
It's kind of like obviously like the rowers in the boat, for example. I was a coxswain for like a four boat, which means they were sweeping, so four people with one oar each, so a total of four oars. And I was in the front of the boat, and it's mostly like the person who leads them to where they need to go to stay on path during like competition or practice, that can gauge how fast they're all going and the strength that they're actually like exerting upon like the travel of the boat. So it would mostly be not like the leader of the boat, but kind of like the leader of the boat, to just advise them that, yeah, we're going in a straight line and this is how much power we're outputting. Let's give it some more, or let's take it down, or, you know, like based on the course and stuff like that. There's a lot of, I guess, like direction that goes into being a coxswain, like being able to steer the boat. So you get like a little steering on the side, so you can actually like, yeah, steer the boat. So it's going in a good line. And I'll tell you, I'm not really good at that. So
That's fair. I mean, I'm sure you're much better than I am at it. So good for you. But that's good. You get to drive the boat, I guess you could say that.
yeah.
But
Well, like, they drive the boat, but you help them drive the boat. It's almost like they're on the gas pedal and also steering, but like you're their eyes.
oh, I see.
Like, is that a good analogy? Did that make sense?
That makes perfect sense,
It's
actually.
like, yeah, they're blindly driving and you're their eyes.
That makes a lot of perfect sense.
Yeah. And like, but it's like almost like they're holding the wheel, but you're also holding the wheel. But they can't see, you can see, and you're not pressing the gas.
Oh my goodness. That makes it. Wow, that's interesting. I mean, we learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Thank you for the insight. That's pretty good. Actually, let's learn more about you now. This is not my chance to learn. This is about you, Kennedy. Okay. So away from the topic of rowing, we're going to focus more on you as an individual, stuff you like to do outside rowing, your personality as a person, whatnot. What would you say is one thing that a lot of people do, or that's very common, that you don't do yourself? So let's say, for example, the average person tends to write with their right hand, and you say, oh, I'm left-handed instead. What would you say is an example of something a lot of people do that you don't?
I don't know. That's a hard one.
I know. You can take your time, just ease through it, and when the inspiration comes, just throw the answer out. Or we can skip the
Do you have
question.
another example?
Pardon?
Do you have another example?
Let's see. What is one? So, for example, a lot of people, maybe a lot of people, I know some guys who don't use Instagram at all, for example. That's another one. Or some people who, you know, when you're sleeping, your head is usually towards the, I guess, the head of the bed. Some people sleep in reverse, where your feet normally go, that's where their head goes. So just one of those little kind of things.
I don't know. I sleep on my stomach.
Okay, that's one for sure. Okay, let me ask you another question. I need you to be honest about this one, though. Don't be embarrassed. But if you were to get arrested, Kennedy, what would your friends think you did?
What would they think I did? I don't know. Like, what would your friends think you did if you got arrested? Yeah,
No idea. Maybe jaywalking, honestly. That's like the first thing I can think of.
that's
So,
a good one because I definitely try my best now to cross at cross lights, but in the city, it's not like that, right? Like you just try and cross when you can cross. So maybe something similar to that then, because it wouldn't be like anything else.
I guess you're a good person, then. That's a good thing. You're not the kind of person to get into trouble. So let's just summarize it like that. Kennedy is an angel. Okay, just move on. All right.
I wish.
Actually, on the topic of Kennedy as a topic, if you were forced to change your name, what name would you choose? And you can choose your middle name or any other name that you have, or like a nickname.
Okay, well, from a really young age, I watched a show that like a lot of people the same age as me, or like, you know, maybe a little bit older, a little bit younger, like are really like they really like it as well, One Tree Hill.
Okay.
And there was a character on One Tree Hill, and he had a late wife, and her name was like Camilla.
Camilla. Okay.
And like since then, I've been obsessed with that name. And if I ever have a child, I want to name her that. If it's a girl. So I guess I would say that just because I really think that name is very beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. If it was a boy, what would you name them instead?
Okay, so I've only thought about this because I really like the letter K. I think it's like if you have a letter on display, it's a nice letter to be on display. And obviously, because it's been on display and like for me for my whole life, it's a nice letter. But I would go with like a Carter or like Connor, but with a K.
Okay. Or Kawhi.
Or Kawhi.
Anyone you want. It's a free one. You can choose whatever. But that's just interesting to know. I guess the K is significant for you. You put it that
Yeah,
way.
I just like the letter.
Why not? Now, speaking of letter T, then, or T for Taylor. Now, I want to ask you a question. What was your first impression of Taylor the first time you two met?
I don't think she would want me to say my first impression.
Okay, let's get back there.
I was just concerned that she didn't have a printer.
Oh my gosh.
Because like our first interaction was in residence in 2014.
Okay.
And I met Taylor because of my roommate in residence.
Okay.
I guess they had gotten to know each other and like they were kind of close. Like they would study together sometimes and stuff. And Taylor would always ask me to print her lectures for her because I had a printer and she knew that I was roommates with the one girl that she was always hanging out with.
Okay.
So my first impression was that girl needs a printer.
That is funny. Did you ever get, I mean, you could have gotten her one maybe as a Christmas gift, as a friend, just as a joke or something. Have you ever done that?
No,
Maybe we'll do
unfortunately, it didn't make any sense, David. I had a printer. So, you know, from that year on, we were really close and we decided to live together. So I have two printers.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's interesting. That's honestly, it's not every time you get such stories about, oh, this is the first time we met and this was how the whole thing came about and how you can tie your friendship back to just something like a printer, for example.
Yep.
So you two have been through a lot of adventures. And of course, I'm not just going to keep this exclusively to you two alone.
Yeah.
You're much more than just Taylor alone. You have other aspects too. But I like when I see a good friendship between two people, I like to talk about it for sure. So what are some of the favorite, I guess, vacation spots or locations you two love to travel to together?
So realistically speaking, the only places we have traveled together, and it's not like the only places we have traveled together, but like a lot is we really like to take like just like those small road trips to go to Windsor to visit her family or to like St. Andrews to visit my family. So that's something that we do like a lot, and we mostly always do it together. If she's going there, I go. If I'm going there, she'll come. But other than that, we also worked for a travel company since 2017. So we got to go to like Dominican Republic together and to Daytona Beach together and to Panama City Beach together. And we were always like working as like trip leaders on these trips, but we got to go together. So that was really fun and exciting and something that we really liked to do. We would plan to kind of like message our supervisors and say like, hey, can we both do this one and not give us two separate ones? Because in the past we'd been on separate ones at the same time. So
Okay. That's interesting. Is that when you met Loud Luxury as well? Were you also there?
she met Loud Luxury. I
Oh,
was sleeping
oh no.
because we had different shifts. So I think like I did like the morning stuff and I was out in the sun all day and I had a really bad sunburn. And then she was like programmed to be like at the night event
Yeah.
because she wasn't like she had her break whenever I was in the sun.
Yeah.
So like I got a really bad sunburn, I'm pretty sure that time. And I was just like, I'm not gonna go to the arcade.
And now that just so happened to be the moment, but don't worry. You can always meet someone else.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have this little thing I always do. I always call it, I heard this through the grapevine with every single person that I talk to. So I heard it through the grapevine that you're vegan, apparently.
Yes.
You want to talk about that for a little while?
Sure. If you want, yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, so I haven't eaten meat in I guess like 7 years.
Oh,
And that was just because it upset my digestive system. So kudos to all the vegans, vegetarians that like completely are like for animal rights and stuff like that. But I don't have any preaching to do. It's just my diet, it's just my lifestyle, and it just makes me feel better.
yeah, fair.
So I know like a lot of people they'll hear like somebody like, oh yeah, I'm on a plant-based diet, and they're like, oh my god, I can't talk to that person. So
Oh,
because
no.
like there's like those lines around vegans and stuff like that where that's all they'll talk about.
It's like a stereotype at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
All right. So how do you make it fun for yourself or someone who's thinking about it? How would you suggest they go about it from how you've done it yourself to just make it fun altogether and not make it feel like, oh, I have to give up meat or chicken
yeah.
or anything?
So I really like the app Pinterest. And basically, like on Pinterest, if you're somebody who has maybe like a hobby of cooking, which I really like to cook and try new things. Disclaimer, not a baker, don't like baking.
Why not?
Cooker all the way. But I'll oftentimes just try to find vegan ways to make the same dishes I would eat when I would eat meat.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I make it fun. You're not restricting yourself. You're still eating like your stuffed ricotta shells and stuff like that and your chicken parmesan and whatever, but I just do it, make it vegan.
Yeah. I actually tried this thing. I think it was eggplant parmesan, if
Yeah.
I remember. It literally tasted almost exactly like the chicken parmesan. I'm like, okay.
Because it's the toppings and stuff, right? Like I'll admit, I'm not an eggplant fan. It's completely like it's way too watery. So it doesn't have the consistency that I'm looking for in regards to that. But I'm definitely someone who would like take the eggplant and the zucchini and the nutritional yeast and blend it all in a blender and like make chicken patties out of it or what looks like a chicken patty. So then it's not watery, it's not runny, it still has the cheesy taste. You know what I mean? Like just like be adventurous and like, don't be scared to blend things.
Yeah. It's honestly true. I mean, I'll say it's important to be open-minded and like step out of your comfort zone to really experiment with things you haven't, if you really want to enjoy that lifestyle.
Yeah,
And even if you're not vegan, like always step out of your comfort zone every single time. It's fun.
absolutely.
But it seems like you have a lot of fun with food altogether.
Yeah, I definitely like to whip up random things.
So why don't you like baking? Then I need to ask that too.
Say that, sorry?
Why don't you like baking? You said you're strictly for cooking, but you don't like baking. Why?
Okay, so baking is a whole other like ordeal of its own. You have to use specific measurements, and I'm kind of like, let's whip a little bit of this, let's whip a little bit of that. But if you forget the baking powder in your cookies are gonna be mush.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you have to follow specific recipes like to a T. You have to bake for a specific amount of time, and it just like it takes longer and like more thought.
Okay. Okay.
So like I've tried to get into it and there's been a few things, but like I just feel so defeated when they don't turn out the way they're supposed to. And I'm like, I'm never baking again.
Yeah. I feel your pain. I see where you're coming from. I've had a few of those experiences myself.
Yeah.
And certainly, personally, yeah, of course, I feel cooking is the better of the two options.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not strictly against baking, but I can agree with you on that for sure. Okay. So let me ask this question too as well. It's not in regards to cooking or baking or anything. You're a rower. You're multi-talented. You can do different things. You love to travel. You love to cook as well. And now graduation is coming up pretty soon. What would you say your post-grad life is looking like? What would you like to do once you step out of the four walls of Ontario Tech?
Well, I applied to post grad school in September, so I'm just kind of waiting to hear back from that.
Okay.
I feel if I'm not really successful getting into post grad school right away, that I would try and just, work full time. I really like working. I really like doing new things. So yeah,
I'm sure
maybe work for a year, reapply,
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a solid plan. You're still doing something very beneficial to yourself. And
Yeah,
also, you'll figure something out. You seem like a smart individual.
thank you.
Okay, so I want to play a little game before I jump into the last part where we can talk more about your upbringing, your family, maybe
Sure.
St. Andrews, whatever you want to talk about. That's up to you. But it's just a little game of put a finger down. Have you ever
Okay.
played that before? Okay,
I
perfect.
played it on TikTok.
I know I do that thing all the time. No shame in it. No shame. So put a finger down if you've ever flipped a boat before while rowing or while on the water. Are you sure? You never? Oh, wow, that's impressive. Okay. Put a
Knock
finger
on wood.
down. Put a finger down if you've ever stayed up for 24 hours straight. Perfect. Put a finger down if you've ever eaten a whole pizza box, no matter how big or small, by yourself. Okay. Put a finger down if you've ever been caught talking to yourself out loud. Wow, this is gonna be a brutal round. Okay, if you've ever sneezed on someone or farted out loud in public.
I've totally sneezed on someone accidentally.
What was your reaction?
Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, cause it just came out. Like, it was just like, oh, allergies, achoo.
I've done it too, don't worry. I know exactly how uncomfortable it was. It is what it is. So put a finger down if you've ever correctly guessed someone else's passcode.
Yeah.
You have?
Yep.
Psychic powers. Nice.
No, it's more so like knowing a little bit about them and like, what would they put? It's either going to be a word or their favorite numbers.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe even the year they were born. A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 fingers left. Let's see if we can make it through. Of course, this one's going to go down. Put a finger down if you've ever tried a vegan burger before. I had to throw that in there.
So many.
If you've ever missed a flight before. Never? Okay. If you've ever frozen during a class presentation or when talking to someone for the first time.
No.
Never. Pretty confident. Nice.
Presentations, you got to be prepared.
You don't want to mess up. You always remember those. Okay. Put a finger down if you've ever met a celebrity before.
What's classified as a celebrity?
That's up to you. What would you categorize as a celebrity?
Like, I've had some like meet and greets with like some singers, so that's kind of like celebrities.
Yep, that counts. Okay, 3. Oh, I have 3 questions left.
Oh no.
You can make it. If you've ever cheated on a test before.
No.
Never. Oh my goodness.
No.
I was right. You're actually an angel.
No, like sometimes I get some cheat sheets, right? But that's like approved. So it's not called cheating if you're allowed it.
True. Very true. Okay. Let's see how many fingers you have left then. If you've mistakenly gone into the wrong washroom before.
Oh yeah.
I've done that. If you've ever barked back at a dog before. Yeah. Honestly, I've done that. That's the last question. So 1 finger left. Good. You made it. Nice. The last part, I've done that a lot of times, just for fun though, not like aggressively. I'm a nice guy.
No, me either. My dog, he just like lays around. It's my roommate's dog actually, but oh my God, I'll just like start making weird noises at him.
I know. It happens. Okay. So let's talk. We haven't really talked much about your family too. So what can you say about your family, your influence they've had on you as a person, whether it was because of them you got into rowing, or you can touch on that too. How did you get into rowing? Or just general, what kind of influence have they had on your life altogether?
Well, they've definitely like My parents have made me exactly who I am today. I'm a little mix of both of them in regards to, like that soft, gentle side, but I'm not really soft and gentle. I'm actually just very like get it done. So I have like more of that than that, but like that's my mom, that's my dad. So I would say like my dad's characteristics have rubbed off on me like a lot, like very stern to the point, like this is how it is, a little bit outspoken. But in regards to like people that are close to me, they didn't really have an impact on me rowing. They weren't really like athletic in their earlier life or anything like that. But they're very glad that I did, because my mom's best friend that lives in Manitoba is super rowing fan, and she loves watching people row. So that was definitely like a motivator to continue on after I began. But yeah, like I'm really, really close to like my siblings and stuff like that. So I would say that they all have a piece of like who I am. And I would say that like a lot of my personality is like based on all those traits that they have, some good, some bad, but we are who we're around most of the time. And I'm really always around them. So
True.
yeah.
So a lot of them rubbed off on you. So if you
Yeah.
want to see Kennedy in a nutshell, just look at her family
Yeah.
altogether. That's
Yeah.
great. So last and final question. Now this, let's just say this is your elevator pitch to the world, to all the whole Ridgeback family watching you. If you were to introduce yourself, now we're going to watch literally like 20 minutes plus of you talk about yourself. But if you were to then sum up everything into like a few seconds, and you were to introduce yourself for the first time to all of us, what would you say?
Hi, my name is Kennedy. I'm a fourth year kinesiology student at Ontario Tech University. I plan to do some type of rehabilitation like post grad, not sure really what or what I'm going to do. My hobbies are cooking, and I love being with my best friends and my family. And that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Nice, nice. That's great. Well, honestly, I learned a whole lot about you as an individual, Kennedy. Thank you so much for joining the show. And anyone you want to shout out real quick? Anyone you forgot to mention?
Let's shout out Taylor. We didn't mention her, but
Never,
we did mention her, but like,
just really hammered.
triple shout out.
Yeah. Leveled up shout out. Perfect then. All right. Thank you so much. And bye.
Bye.